The city watched the tall building every morning. Cars stopped in front of it. Men in suits walked in with briefcases. Women in heels hurried across the wide glass doors. The company's name shone in silver letters at the top of the building. It was one of the biggest companies in the country. Inside, on the top floor, sat the man who owned everything. His name was Daniel Harris. People called him Sir Daniel or Mr. Harris with deep respect. He was in his early 40s, neat haircut, clean shave, and eyes that always seemed to be thinking. When he walked into a room, people adjusted their clothes and sat up straight. He had money, houses, cars, and a company that never stopped growing. But he did not have a wife. Many women wanted him. Some loved his money. Some loved his power. Some loved his name. But no one had ever looked at him and loved just Daniel, the man who sometimes woke up tired, lonely, and afraid of making a wrong decision. One night, after a long meeting, he sat alone in his wide office. The city lights shone through the glass wall. His jacket was on the chair. His tie lay on the table. A cup of cold coffee sat untouched. His personal assistant, Mark, entered quietly. "Sir, are you going home?" Mark asked. Daniel rubbed his forehead. "In a minute." "Did the board agree on the new project?" "Yes, sir. They all signed." "Good," he said, though his voice was empty. Mark watched him for a short moment. "Sir, can I say something?" Daniel looked at him. "Go on. You have everything, sir. But you don't look happy." The words hit his heart harder than he expected. He smiled weakly. "Happiness is expensive, Mark." "You can afford it, sir," Mark replied gently. When Mark left, the office felt too quiet. Daniel stood up and walked to the glass wall. From up there, everyone looked small. The cars, the people, the street lights. He remembered something his late mother used to say. If you want to know a person's heart, watch how they treat those beneath them. He had seen many women smile at him. He had heard them say sweet words, but he had also watched some of them shout at waiters, insult drivers, and look down on cleaners. His mother's words refused to leave his mind. He turned away from the glass quickly. A strange idea crossed his heart, and instead of pushing it away, he sat down and allowed it to grow. What if I meet a woman who does not know I am rich? What if I see how she treats someone who looks poor and ordinary? What if I become that person? The thought scared him and excited him at the same time. The next morning, he called Mark into the office. "I want to try something," Daniel said. Mark frowned a little. "Something like what, sir?" "I want a new cleaner for my office," Daniel replied. "And for a few weeks. I will not be Mr. Harris. I will be a janitor." Mark blinked. "A janitor?" "Yes. I will dress like one. Act like one. No one must know, not even the cleaner. Only you. I want to see who will respect someone that looks like nothing." Mark hesitated. "Sir, this is risky." Daniel nodded. "So is marriage." He leaned back in his chair. His eyes were firm now. "I am tired of lies, Mark. I want a woman whose kindness is not for cameras, not for social media, not for my money. I want to see how she acts when she thinks no one important is watching." Mark slowly understood. "You want to test for a wife." "I want to test for a heart," Daniel whispered. "If I find the right heart, maybe I will also find a wife." And so the plan began. Downstairs, in another part of the city, a young woman named Anna Miller was about to wake up and step into a story she never asked for. She did not know that her mop, her broom, and her tired hands were about to meet a man who looked like a rude janitor. Anna woke up before the sun. Her small room was quiet, except for the soft sound of a leaking tap in the bathroom and the distant noise of early buses on the road. She lay for a moment, staring at the cracked ceiling. "I am still here," she whispered to herself, then sat up. Her feet touched the cold floor. She folded her thin blanket and placed it carefully at the edge of the bed. Her eyes went to the small picture of her late mother on the wall. "Good morning, Mum," she said softly. Her mother had died 3 years ago, leaving her alone with debts and memories. Since then, Anna had worked any job she could find. She cleaned schools, churches, small offices, and sometimes rich people's houses. She carried water, washed toilets, and scrubbed floors until her hands ached. But she never complained. "Work is not shame," her mother used to say. "Only stealing is shame." She took a quick bath. wore her simple black skirt and a clean blue blouse. Her shoes were old but polished. She tied her hair in a neat bun. She had no makeup, only a little lip balm. She liked to look neat, even if no one noticed. Her phone buzzed. It was a message from her younger brother, Sam, who lived in another town. "Morning, sis. I will try to send money for rent next week. Don't worry." Anna smiled sadly. She knew he was struggling too. She replied, "Don't stress yourself. I'm fine. Take care of your studies. I'm proud of you." She grabbed her small bag and stepped outside. The air was cool. The sky was slowly turning from dark to gray. She walked to the bus stop and joined the line of tired workers, all chasing a new day. On the bus, she sat by the window. As the city rolled past, she thought of the new job the agency had told her about the day before. A big company, the woman at the cleaning agency had said. They need an extra cleaner for the top floors. If you do well, they will keep you. Will they pay on time? Anna had asked. Yes, not much, but better than some places. Now, as the bus moved through traffic, Anna held that hope close. She needed the money. Her rent was almost due. Her shoes were becoming thin. Her brother still needed help with books. She reached the company earlier than her call time. The building surprised her. It was tall, shining, and powerful. People in suits moved in and out as if they belonged to another world. Anna looked down at her simple clothes and took a quiet breath. Work is not shame, she reminded herself again. Inside, she met the head cleaner, Mrs. Rose, a strict woman with sharp eyes and a fast tongue. "You are the new girl?" Mrs. Rose asked. "Yes, Ma. My name is Anna." "I don't care about your name," the woman snapped. "Just do your work well. The top floors are important. These rich people can complain about small things. If they shout, you keep quiet. If they are rude, you smile. Do you hear me?" "Yes, Ma," Anna replied, lowering her eyes. "Good. Go and change into your uniform." Anna went into the small changing room, wore the company's cleaner uniform, and tied the apron. She looked at herself in the mirror. For a second, she felt small. Then she straightened her shoulders. "God, please help me today," she whispered. Upstairs on the top floor, another person was getting ready too. Daniel stood in front of his mirror, not in his usual suit, but in a faded brown overall. On his head was a simple cap. On his feet were cheap rubber shoes. In his hand was an old mop handle. He almost did not recognize himself. Mark stood at the door, trying very hard not to smile. "Say it," Daniel said. "You look ordinary, sir," Mark replied carefully. "That is the point," Daniel said. "From today, when I am dressed like this, I am not your boss. I am just Ben, the janitor. Do you understand?" "Yes, sir. I mean, yes, Ben." They both knew it was not a joke anymore. It was real. Downstairs, Mrs. Rose pointed to the elevator. "Top floor. Start from the main office. And remember, don't enter any office without knocking. Some of them will insult you. Just swallow it. We are cleaners, not queens." "Yes, Ma," Anna said. The elevator doors opened with a soft sound. Anna stepped out, holding her cleaning cart. The top floor felt like another world. The air smelled of expensive perfume and fresh coffee. The floor shone. The walls were covered with quiet art. There was a silence that carried importance. She rolled her cart slowly, looking for any dirt, any stain, anything that needed her hands. Her eyes went to one wide glass door with golden letters. Executive office. She swallowed. This must be the big man's office, she thought. At that moment, a mop bucket rolled close to her feet. She stepped back quickly to avoid spilling it. "Watch where you're going," a male voice snapped. She turned. A man in a brown overall stood there, holding a mop. He wore a cap pulled low and cheap rubber shoes. His face looked hard. He had no smile. I'm sorry," Anna said at once. "I didn't see the bucket." "Then open your eyes," he replied sharply. "You new cleaners are always the same. You come here and start dreaming instead of working." The word stung. She almost replied, but she stopped herself. She remembered what Mrs. Rose had said. If they are rude, you smile. So she lowered her eyes and said softly, "I'm really sorry." He looked at her for a long moment, as if studying her. "What's your name?" he asked. "Anna," she replied. He grunted. "I'm Ben." I've worked here for years. Don't get in my way and don't make trouble. These office people don't like noise. Yes, sir, she said quietly. He did not tell her that Ben was not his real name. He did not tell her that under the cheap cap and worn clothes was the same Daniel Harris, whose photo hung in the lobby. He did not tell her that every harsh word was part of a test he already hated, but still felt he needed. He simply turned away and knocked hard on the executive office door, then pushed his cleaning cart inside. Anna started from the hallway, dusting the corners, wiping glass, and straightening chairs. Some staff walked past her as if she did not exist. One man almost bumped into her and did not say sorry. Another woman left her empty coffee cup on the floor instead of in the bin. As she worked, she heard Ben inside the big office, moving things around. After some time, he came out again carrying a small bin. Hey, new girl, he called. She looked up. Come and mop this part, he said, pointing to a corner near the door. And don't scratch the floor. If there is one mark, they will shout at you, not at me. Yes, Anna replied. She pushed her cart closer. As she bent to mop, her back almost touching the door, it suddenly opened from inside. She staggered a little but did not fall. A man in a suit stood there, annoyed. What is this? Why are you blocking the door? He complained. I'm so sorry, sir, Anna said quickly, moving aside with her mop. Do your work somewhere else, he said coldly and walked away. She nodded, even though he was no longer listening. Behind her, she heard a small sound, like a quiet sigh. She turned. It was Ben, watching with unreadable eyes. You didn't shout back, he said. She looked confused. Shout back? Yes. You didn't insult him. You didn't argue. Anna smiled weakly. Why should I? He is stressed. Maybe he had a bad morning. I just need to do my work and go home. He frowned. Some people like to answer fire with fire. She shook her head slowly. Rubbish burns with fire. People do not have to. For a brief second, something soft moved in his chest. He did not expect that answer. He looked at her again, more carefully now. You talk too much, he said quickly, hiding his reaction. Go back to work. Yes, sir, she said, still calm. All through the morning, he watched her when she did not know. He watched her pick up a paper one staff dropped without thanks. He watched her gently greet an older security man and ask how his back was doing. He watched her quietly clean a coffee stain someone left on the table and not complain. Every time someone was rude, she swallowed it and moved on, not with fake smiles, but with a quiet strength that surprised him. At noon, in the small staff corner, he saw her sitting alone, eating rice from a small food flask. Her meal was simple: white rice, a little tomato sauce, and water in a plastic bottle. He walked up to her, still wearing his rough mask. New girl, he said. Anna looked up. Yes, sir. Why are you eating here alone? She smiled a little. Because no one invited me to eat with them, she said honestly, and because I don't like noise when I am tired. He grunted. Your food is small. It is enough, she answered quietly. Some people do not even have this. Her words moved something deeper this time. He had eaten in restaurants where one plate cost more than her monthly salary. He had signed checks without thinking twice. Yet there she sat, grateful for a small meal. He almost sat beside her. Almost. Instead, he looked away and said, Don't be late going back to work. I won't, she replied. When he walked off, he could still feel her calm voice in his mind. He had wanted to be a rude janitor to test people. He did not know the test would also touch him. The next few days followed the same pattern. Every morning, Anna arrived early. She would sweep the hall, mop the floor, dust the railings, and wipe every glass door until it shone. She always greeted the guards and the older staff. Some replied with a smile. Some ignored her, but her tone never changed. Good morning, sir. Good morning, Ma. Soft, respectful, real. Ben watched everything. He made extra mess in his own cleaning area just to see what she would do. Sometimes he forgot a dirty bucket in her path. Sometimes he dropped bits of paper on the floor she had just mopped. Not once did she complain. She just cleaned it again. One afternoon, he walked into the hallway carrying a heavy box filled with cleaning supplies. He made it look heavier than it really was. He staggered a little and paused, breathing loudly. Staff walked past them. No one offered help. They were busy with their phones, their files, their own importance. Anna was cleaning near the wall when she saw him. She rushed over at once. "Sir, please, let me help you," she said, reaching for the box. He frowned. "Can you carry it?" "I can try," she replied that he allowed her to hold one side while he held the other. Together, they carried it to the storeroom. Inside, she carefully arranged the items on the shelf. "You didn't have to help," he said gruffly. She wiped a bit of sweat from her forehead. "You look tired," she said simply. "My mother taught me that strength is not only for yourself." He turned his face away so she would not see the emotion in his eyes. "Some people say cleaners are nothing," he said quietly, "that we are only good for toilets and floors." She paused, then looked at him. "People can say anything," she replied, "but God sees everything. Work is work. I clean floors, but I know I am not a floor. I am a person." Her words hung in the air between them. He cleared his throat. "You talk too much for a cleaner." She smiled a little. "I only talk when someone asks." He had not planned to ask, but he kept asking again and again. Later that week, a small storm came. Anna was cleaning the main entrance when one of the managers, Mrs. Kate, walked through the door. She was in a tight suit, high heels, and carried a big bag. She always walked like the building belonged to her. Her heels slipped on a small wet spot Anna had not yet dried. Mrs. Kate caught herself before she fell, but her anger exploded. "Are you stupid?" she shouted at Anna. "Do you want to kill me?" Anna dropped her mop at once and stepped back. "I'm so sorry, Ma. I was still mopping." "Shut up," the woman snapped. "I should report you. Do you know who I am in this company?" "I'm very sorry, Ma," Anna repeated, her voice shaking. Mrs. Kate pushed her on the shoulder. "Next time you see me coming, you dry the floor before I get there. Use your brain." Several staff watched from a distance. No one said anything. Some even smirked. Ben stood at the far end of the hallway. His heart burned. He wanted to rush over, remove the cap from his head, and say, "That is enough. Do not talk to her like that. I own this place." But he did not. Not yet. He needed to see what Anna would do. Anna bent quickly, took a dry cloth from her cart, and cleaned the wet spot with trembling hands. "I am very sorry, Ma," she said again, not lifting her eyes. Mrs. Kate rolled her eyes and walked away, muttering insults under her breath. When the hallway was quiet again, Anna stood up slowly. Her eyes were wet, but she did not let the tears fall. She picked up her mop and continued her work. Later, in the staff corner, Ben walked up to her. "That woman insulted you," he said. Anna was eating again, but her food hardly moved. "She was angry," Anna replied. "I almost made her fall." "She pushed you," he said, his jaw tight. "She called you stupid. You still apologized." Anna looked at him, really looked, for the first time. "I am not stupid," she said softly. "So her words cannot turn me into what I am not. I know who I am. I know why I am here." He swallowed. "Why are you here?" he asked quietly. She smiled sadly. "Because my life depends on this job. I have rent to pay. I have a younger brother in school. I don't have anyone else. If I fight every person that insults me, I will lose more than my pride. Sometimes silence is not weakness. It is wisdom." He could not answer. For a long moment, he just stood there, feeling smaller in his fake overall than he had ever felt in a suit. That night, when he finally sat in his real office as Mr. Harris, he could not stop thinking about her words. "I know who I am. Sometimes silence is not weakness." He looked at his reflection in the glass wall. His test was working, but something was happening inside him too. He was supposed to be the one examining hearts. Now his own heart was being quietly examined by a cleaner who did not even know his name. One rainy morning, the office felt colder than usual. Rain beat softly against the windows. Staff came in with umbrellas and wet shoes. Water collected near the entrance, and cleaners hurried to keep the floor dry. Ben was mopping near the reception desk when two junior staff, Toby and Lucas, walked in laughing. They were in their mid-20s, always joking, always gossiping. "See this old janitor," Toby said loudly, not caring if Ben heard. "I'm sure he sleeps in the storeroom with the mops." Lucas laughed. "Look at his shoes. My old slippers at home are finer than that." Ben said nothing. He simply continued mopping. He had heard worse things in his life, but usually not directed at him. As a CEO, people polished their words. Now, dressed as a janitor, he tasted their real tongues. Toby kicked the bucket slightly with his foot, making water splash. "Oops," he said with fake innocence. "Sorry, old man. My leg slipped." Anna was coming from the other side of the hall, carrying a trash bag. She saw the whole thing. She stopped. Her hands tightened on the bag. Ben looked up just in time to see her walk towards them. Her eyes were calm, but there was a quiet fire in them. "Excuse me," she said to Toby and Lucas. They turned to her, surprised. "What is it?" Toby asked, already annoyed. "Please, don't kick the bucket again," she said softly but firmly. "He just cleaned that part." Lucas smirked. "And who are you to tell us what to do? You are also a cleaner." "Yes," Anna replied, lifting her chin a little. "I am a cleaner. He is a cleaner. We are here to work. You are here to work too. Let us all respect each other so that nobody gets hurt." Toby's eyes narrowed. "Are you trying to lecture me?" "No, sir," she said. "I'm just asking you, please." For a moment, the boys were quiet. Maybe they were shocked that a cleaner dared to speak. The receptionist shifted uncomfortably in her chair, pretending to focus on her computer. "Let's go," Lucas finally said with a shrug. "We're wasting time." Toby gave Ben one last mocking look, then followed his friend. When they were gone, the hall felt wider somehow. Anna turned to Ben. "I'm sorry if I made it worse," she said gently. "I just felt it was not right." Ben stared at her. His throat felt tight. "You defended me," he said slowly. She smiled a little. "Somebody should." He shook his head. "Nobody has ever done that before." She laughed faintly. "Then maybe you have been walking alone for too long." He almost told her who he was in that moment. Almost. Instead, he said, "Thank you," in a low voice that did not sound like the rude janitor anymore. Her eyes softened. "We are on the same side," she replied. "You help me carry heavy things. I help you when people are rude. That is how life should be." After she walked away, he stood there, holding his mop, feeling something deep and strange in his chest. On the CCTV cameras, security staff had quietly watched the scene. One of them, an older man named Mr. Joe, shook his head and muttered, "That girl has a good heart." Later that day, Mrs. Rose called Anna into a corner. "What happened this morning?" she demanded. Anna blinked. "Ma, I heard you talk back to 2 junior staff. They said you challenged them." Anna's heart sank. "I didn't challenge them, Ma. They were kicking water around where Ben had just mopped. I only asked them to stop so no one would fall." Mrs. Rose sighed loudly. "See, this is how trouble starts. We are cleaners. We swallow insults. We don't talk back. If they report you to HR, they won't listen to your story. They will just say you are stubborn." "I'm sorry, Ma," Anna said, her voice small. "I didn't mean any harm." Outside the half-open door, Ben stood listening. It burned him inside. He wanted to walk in and say she did the right thing. Don't scold her. But the timing was not right. His test was not finished. He needed to see if her heart would change when things got harder. That evening, when everyone had gone, Daniel removed the overall and put on his suit again. He sat in his real office, going through reports. But his mind was not on numbers. He kept seeing Anna standing in front of those boys, defending him. He kept hearing, "We are on the same side." He had wanted to find a woman who could love someone beneath her. He had not expected to find someone who saw no one as beneath her at all. The next week, tension quietly grew. Toby and Lucas did not forget the small shame Anna had caused them, even though she had spoken with respect. Their pride was bigger than their sense. They started with small things. Sometimes they dropped tissue on the floor when they saw her near, just to watch her pick it up. Sometimes they whispered and laughed when she walked past. She tried to ignore them. "Don't worry," she told herself. "You are here to work, not to fight." But one Friday evening, things went too far. Most staff had already gone home. Only a few people remained finishing their tasks. The cleaner stayed behind, as usual, to make the building ready for Monday. Anna was alone in one of the conference rooms, wiping down the long table and arranging chairs. The lights were bright. The room was quiet. Suddenly, the door opened. Toby and Lucas walked in, still in their shirts and ties, but with loosened collars. Anna's hands paused. Good evening, sirs, she said quickly. They did not answer. Instead, Toby walked to the door, closed it, and locked it. Anna felt her heart beat a little faster. Lucas leaned against the wall, folding his arms. So, Madam Cleaner, he said, we want to talk. Anna stepped back a little. Is there a problem, sir? Yes, Toby replied, walking closer. You embarrassed us last week. You spoke to us like we are your mates. That is disrespect. I didn't mean it that way, Anna said, her voice shaking. I was just what? Lucas cut in. Trying to be a hero? She thinks she's special, Toby said with a bitter laugh. Always quiet, always humble. Always greeting everyone. Maybe you think one big man will see you and marry you, right? Anna swallowed. Please, sirs. I don't want trouble. I am only here to work. If I offended you, I am sorry. Toby moved closer until she could smell his strong perfume. If you want us to forget it, he said lowly, you have to be nice to us too. The meaning in his voice was clear now. Fear rushed through her body. She stepped back quickly, bumping into a chair. Please no, she said, her eyes wide. Please don't say that. I respect you, but don't talk to me like this. I am not that kind of girl. Who will believe you? Lucas laughed. You are just a cleaner. We are staff. If we shout, they will ask you to leave before they even hear you. Toby reached out and grabbed her wrist. She gasped. Leave me, she whispered, trying to pull away. Please, sir, leave me. At that exact moment, the door handle turned. The locked door shook. Open this door, a deep voice commanded from outside. Anna's heart jumped. It was Ben. Toby froze. Lucas looked at the door, annoyed. Who is that? Toby shouted. Open the door now, came the reply, sharper this time. Toby hesitated, then dropped Anna's hand and walked to the door. He unlocked it roughly. Ben stood there in his brown overall, but his eyes were not the same. They were dark, cold, and very clear. What are you doing here? Toby demanded. This is an office, not your storeroom. Ben ignored him. His eyes went to Anna. She stood near the chair, her wrist red where it had been held. Her chest rose and fell too fast. Her eyes were wet, but she was fighting the tears. Are you okay? Ben asked her, his voice softer. Yes, she whispered, even though she was not okay at all. Toby laughed. Why are you asking her? She is a cleaner. We're just talking to her. Ben stepped fully into the room. The air changed. You were not just talking, he said slowly. I watched you from the small glass on the side. I heard enough. Lucas rolled his eyes. So what? Are you HR? Who are you to question us? Toby added, bold again. You are just a janitor. If you are not careful, I will make sure they sack you and your friend. For a moment, Ben said nothing. Then something inside him snapped into decision. He turned to Anna. Go downstairs, he said softly. Wait for me in the small staff room. Do not leave the building yet. She hesitated, looking between them. Go, he repeated gently. She nodded and walked out quickly, hugging herself. As soon as the door closed behind her, Ben looked back at the two young men. His face was calm now. Too calm. You are right, he said quietly. I am not HR, but I am the one who signs HR salary. They laughed, then stopped, because, very slowly, he removed his cap. He straightened his shoulders. The fake tiredness in his back disappeared. The man standing in front of them suddenly looked taller. You, Lucas stammered, blinking. He had seen that face before. On the wall in the lobby, in the company website, in the newspapers. Daniel Harris, their CEO. Their mouths opened, but no words came out. I gave you jobs, Daniel said, his voice low but full. Good jobs. I trusted you with this office. And this is what you do in your free time. Locking a young woman in a room. Using my company to feed your dirty desires. Sir, we were just Toby tried. Just what? Daniel cut in. Just abusing your small power because you met someone you think is beneath you. They were shaking now. Sir, please, Lucas whispered. We didn't touch her. We were only talking. How long before talking becomes something else? Daniel asked. And how many other girls have you done this to? Sweat ran down their faces. I have been watching this floor for weeks, Daniel continued. I have watched how you treat cleaners, security, even old Joe at the gate. You laugh at them. You insult them. You make their work harder. Sir, we didn't know. You didn't need to know I was watching, he said quietly. You should have known that God is watching. And that is enough. He stepped closer. You are both suspended, he said. From this moment, HR will call you on Monday. If you step into this building without permission, security will walk you out. They fell to their knees. Sir, please, we are sorry, Toby cried. We have families. So does she, Daniel replied. Did you think about her family when you locked that door? They had no answer. He turned and walked out, leaving them on the floor with their fear. In the hallway, he felt his heart pounding. His fingers still shook when he reached the elevator. He had crossed the line. He had removed his mask. The test could not stay hidden for long. Downstairs, Anna sat on a plastic chair in the small staff room, hugging herself. She replayed the scene again and again in her mind. The locked door, the hands on her wrist, the voice outside, the voice that came like help at the very last second, the voice of a rude janitor who, somehow, stood between her and danger. When the door opened and Ben walked in, she stood up at once. Her eyes were full of questions. He looked at her for a long time, his heart heavy with the truth he could no longer hide. Anna, he said softly, there is something you need to know. The staff room suddenly felt too small. The old fridge in the corner hummed quietly. A rusty fan turned slowly above their heads. Cleaning buckets and mops leaned against the wall. Anna stood near the chair, wiping her eyes with the back of her hand. Her wrist still hurt, but her heart hurt more. Sit, Ben said gently. She obeyed, confused. He did not stand like a tired janitor now. His back was straight. His eyes were steady. The roughness in his voice had melted away. I am sorry for what happened upstairs, he began. It's not your fault, she said quickly. You came on time. If you had not knocked. Her voice broke. He swallowed. I should have done something earlier, he replied. I saw the small ways they were worrying you. I kept watching, waiting. That was my mistake. She looked at him, puzzled. Watching. He took a deep breath. Anna, my name is not Ben, he said quietly. That is only what they know me as in this uniform. She frowned. Then who are you? He held her eyes. My real name is Daniel Harris, he said. I am the owner of this company. The words dropped between them like stone in still water. For a moment, she just stared at him. Then she laughed weakly. Please, sir, don't joke with me. I've seen the picture of Mr. Harris in the lobby. He wears suits. He sits in the big office upstairs. And I sit there too, he answered gently, when I am not holding a mop. Her heart skipped. Pieces began to join in her mind. The way he looked at things around him. The way some staff respected him without knowing why. The strong words he used upstairs. She swallowed. If you are Mr. Harris, why are you dressed like this? He sat down opposite her, resting his elbows on his knees. His voice was low. Because I was tired, he said. Tired of fake smiles. Tired of women who love my money but look down on my workers. My mother used to tell me, if you want to know a person's heart, watch how they treat those beneath them. So I came down here. I put on this overall. I became invisible. She listened, eyes wide. I wanted to see people's true hearts, he continued, especially the women who work here. I wanted to know who would be kind to a man that looks like nothing. He looked at her fully now. And that is how I met you. Her breath caught. He went on, slowly, carefully. I saw you on your first day, he said. I saw how you greeted the old guard. How you apologized even when staff insulted you. How you helped me carry a heavy box when no one else moved. He paused, remembering. I saw how you picked up tissue after that manager almost fell, even though she pushed you and called you names. I watched the way you talked. Soft but not weak. Gentle but strong inside. Her cheeks grew warm. I didn't know, she whispered. I didn't know you were watching. That is the point, he said. You were not performing. You were just being yourself. Silence sat between them for a while. She looked down at her hands. I am just a cleaner, she said softly. He shook his head. No, Anna. You are not just anything. You are a woman with a clean heart in a dirty world. That is rare. Her eyes filled again, but these were different tears. Why are you telling me all this? She asked. Because it is time to end the lie, he answered. It is time to clean my own mess. He drew a deep breath. I will call HR, he said. Those boys will answer for what they did. And Mrs. Kate too. No one has the right to talk to you like you are trash. Not in my building. Anna shook her head quickly. Please, sir. I don't want trouble. I just want to keep my job. He smiled sadly. Justice is not trouble, Anna. And your job is not in danger. Not while I am here. Her shoulders relaxed a little. But there is more, he said softly. Something I need to say, and I want you to listen, even if it sounds strange. She looked at him, nervous now. I started this whole thing because I wanted to test hearts, he said. I told myself I would find a woman who could love a man even when he looks poor. A woman who doesn't chase money, but respects people. His eyes met hers again, and this time she felt the weight in them. I didn't expect to find you. Her heart thundered. I have watched you, Anna, he said. Not as a boss watching a worker, but as a man watching a woman he deeply respects. You are strong. You are gentle. You care for your brother. You don't complain about your life, even when it is hard. You defended me when you thought I was only a janitor. He swallowed, and somewhere along the line, I began to care. Not as a test, not as a game, as a man. She could barely breathe. Sir, she whispered. Please. I don't understand. He smiled a little. I am not asking for your answer now. I just wanted you to know the truth. I wanted you to see me as I am. He leaned back slightly. Tomorrow, I will introduce myself properly to the staff, he continued. I will come upstairs in my suit. They will see that the janitor they ignored is the same man they call Sirdat. He looked at her carefully. It will also show them who you are, he added. They will remember how they treated you while I was beside you in this overall. Fear flickered across her face. I don't want them to hate me, she said quietly. They will not hate you, he replied. They will respect you. And if they don't, they will deal with me. She managed a small smile at that. He stood up slowly. Go home now, he said. Rest. You have carried too much today. She rose, her legs unsteady. Thank you, she said, for stopping them, for telling me the truth. He nodded. Thank you, he answered softly, for being who you are, even when no one was watching. As she left the room, she felt like she was walking in a dream she did not ask for. A billionaire CEO had sat in front of her in a brown overall, and he had just told her that her kindness had touched his heart. Monday came like any other day, but the air felt different. News moved through the building like quiet wind. HR called Toby and Lucas. Something happened on Friday. The CEO is coming down to the floors today. Cleaners whispered to each other. Staff stood a little straighter. Managers adjusted their jackets. Anna arrived early as usual, her heart beating fast. She did not know what would happen. She only knew that nothing was the same anymore. She tied her apron, picked up her mop, and went upstairs. The top floor was buzzing softly. People spoke in low voices. The big glass door of the executive office was open. Anna stood at a corner, not sure where to look. Then the elevator doors opened. He stepped out, not in brown overalls this time, in a dark, well-tailored suit. Clean white shirt, tie, shiny shoes. His hair was brushed back. His face was calm but strong. Mr. Harris, someone whispered. Good morning, everyone. His voice carried down the hall. Staff lined up quickly. Good morning, sir, they chorused. Anna stood at the far end, holding her mop. Her heart pounded. He walked through the hall, greeting a few people with a nod. Managers tried to get his attention. Some workers almost bent in half with respect. He walked past them all. Then he stopped where she stood. Everyone saw it. He turned to her, his eyes warm. Good morning, Anna, he said, his voice gentle but clear. For a moment, no one breathed. She swallowed. Good morning, sir, she replied, her voice shaking. The whole floor turned to look at her. Is that her name? Someone whispered. He knows her name? He looked around at all of them. His face changed. It became serious. I want to say something to all of you, he said. About this building. About the people who work here. They waited. Some of you think respect is only for those who wear suits, he continued. You think the ones who carry mops, or guard the doors, or bring coffee are less important. You think their work is small. His eyes moved slowly over their faces. You are wrong. Silence wrapped around them. He pointed gently to Anna. This young woman, he said, has taught me more about true respect than some people in high positions ever have. I have watched her greet guards, managers, drivers, and cleaners with the same soft voice. He looked at Mrs. Kate, who was standing stiffly in the corner, her face pale. I have also watched some of you insult her, he said quietly. Push her, shout at her, treat her like trash because she cleans your mess. A few people dropped their eyes. From today, he continued, no one, and I repeat, no one is allowed to talk to any cleaner, guard, or junior staff like they are less than human. Not in my company. He turned to the HR manager, who stood near the door. You have already received my instructions concerning Toby and Lucas, he said. Let their case be a warning. Power is not given to you so you can crush people. It is given so you can protect them. Yes, sir, the HR manager said, her voice firm. Then he looked at Anna again. Her eyes were shining with tears she tried to hold back. I have one more announcement, he said. People leaned forward. He drew a breath. For weeks, I have been moving in this building as a janitor, he said. I put on a brown overall and watched how people treat those they think are beneath them. That is how I met Anna. Shock rushed through the hall. The man you saw pushing buckets and mopping floors beside her was me, he said simply. Not as a game, as a test. Gasps sounded. Mrs. Rose almost dropped her file. Some mouths hung open, but Anna just stared at him. She had already heard these words in the small staff room. Now the whole world in this building was hearing them. I was not only testing my staff, he went on. I was also testing for something else. For someone else. A heart. He paused. The hall grew still. I am a rich man, he said. Many women want my name, my money, my position. But I wanted to see who would stand beside me, even when she thought I was nothing. I wanted to see who could look at a man in a cheap overall and still see a human being. He turned fully to Anna, and I found her. A soft shock sound moved through the crowd. He stepped closer to her. Anna, he said gently, but everyone heard. You cleaned my office when you did not know it was mine. You cleaned the halls when people threw their dirt in your path. You cleaned my name when you defended me as a janitor. And without knowing it, you cleaned my heart. Tears finally fell down her cheeks. Sir, please, she whispered, overwhelmed. He smiled softly. I am not asking you to answer me here, in front of everyone, he said. But I want them to know what I know, that you are special, that your kindness is not a show. It is who you are. He turned to the crowd again. From today, he announced, Anna will no longer be just a cleaner in this building. Her eyes widened. I am offering her a full sponsorship to finish any course she chooses, he continued, and a position in this company that matches her dreams when she is done. Gasps rose again, this time mixed with a strange joy. Anna covered her mouth, crying openly now. I am doing this, he said, looking at her, not as charity, but as a thank you for seeing a man in a brown overall and still treating him like a king. He took a small step closer, his eyes gentle. And when your heart is ready, he added softly, I would like to talk to you properly. Not as Mr. Harris, the CEO, and not as Ben the janitor, but as Daniel, a man who has fallen in love with the way you see the world. The hall disappeared for her. It was just his eyes, his words, and the loud beating of her heart. She wiped her tears and managed to speak. I don't know what to say, she whispered. Just say the truth, he replied. She took a shaky breath. The truth is, she began, then paused, overwhelmed. The truth is I never expected this. I only did what my mother taught me. Respect people. Don't laugh at pain. Don't step on those who are already low. She looked at him through tears. And I liked you even as Ben, she admitted in a small voice, because you were rough but kind inside. You helped me carry things. You said thank you. You asked if I was okay. I didn't know I was talking to a rich man. I just knew I was talking to someone who needed respect. His eyes softened more. In that case, he said quietly, maybe there is hope for me. A small, watery laugh escaped her. The staff around them watched, some with tears in their eyes, some with shame on their faces, some with new understanding in their hearts. Later, when the crowd slowly dispersed, when the whispers turned into stories that would be told for years, Anna walked beside Daniel into his office. She looked around the large room she had once cleaned as a stranger. He watched her, his heart full. You have been here before, he said gently. Yes, she smiled, but only with a mop. Now, he replied softly, I hope you will come here as more than that. She turned to him, her eyes meeting his. We will go slowly, she said. My life has never moved fast. I don't know how to rush. He smiled deeply. Good, he said. My heart is tired of rushing too. And so it began, not with expensive flowers or loud promises, but with a mop, a brown overall, a small staff room, quiet kindness, and a billionaire who learned that the truest test of a wife is not how she treats a king, but how she treats a man who looks like he is nothing at all.